Namaste guys, today I'm going to talk about Mars in Libra. And if you have Mars in Libra, you might want to see this video because Mars in Libra has a lot of pros, but like all aspects, it also has a lot of cons. Now I'm going to speak about the pros about having Mars in Libra placement when you're born natally. Now when you have that aspect there, the pros about it is that before you make a decision, you're going to think, okay? Unlike the Mars Aries, which they act impulsively and that can get them into a lot of trouble, okay? I've seen a lot of people that have Mars in Aries or Mars in Scorpio, and they have trouble with the authority, with the police, because they don't think before doing. Now when you have Libra and Mars together, that energy is more passive. It's not aggressive, it's passive. It thinks before making a decision. It weighs everything. Now, now the cons about it is that they could be passive aggressive. Their actions can be delayed. That's the problem. If they have an issue, they might not realize it until a couple of hours later, a couple of weeks later, even a couple of years later. And as a result, they could get very depressed, very resentful, okay? And they could pull back. Now, just because you have an aspect doesn't mean that you are confined to that aspect for the rest of your life. When you are aware, okay, of your downfalls, you could fix them, okay? You could work on them. And I've been working on my passive Mars in Libra for ever since I was aware of it, and that's actually recently. You know, I always thought that this aspect was always some sort of pro, like everybody thinks that their aspects are the best, but really, it's not at its best. Mars is not that exalted in Libra, okay? It has its pros, but it's not that exalted. When you have Mars in Libra, people tend to make decisions for you. And I've always wondered why I attract certain men in my life that want to dominate me, that want to put their foot over me for some reason, want to think for me. And some of them are very much father figurely. And I've always wondered, why is it? And it's because I give this energy out that I am submissive, meek, and probably weak. Like my energy aura is like, oh, she's so nice, you know, she's so complacent, so therefore I'm a narcissist and I need this victim. I need to victimize this person. I need to exert my, authority over this person because she can't make her own decisions. She has no mind of her own. She's smart, okay, but she needs direction. And therefore, who better than me, okay, to show her the way? You know what I mean? This is why I have attracted these sort of people in my life. And I've been very miserable, and I've always wondered, my God, what kind of energy am I giving out there? And Mars is all about energy. And I've been giving this indirect, because that's what Libra is, indirect energy of being fair. Okay, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to tell him I don't like him because I don't want to hurt his feelings. Maybe I should give him a chance, maybe I should sacrifice my own happiness, to maybe it will work out with this person. Instead of having the opposite attitude, or maybe a more balanced attitude, which is Mars and Aries, in the middle of no way, we don't match. Go your own way. I have my own likes. I can make my own decisions. Now, I've had this aspect of my life because I was born with it, but I don't let it, limit me. I grew above that aspect. Okay, and that's what an alchemist is. Grow over your negative attributes. And after reaching the age of 30, you actually grow out of that. You're at your prime. You realize that, and you could work, over it. And I believe that is the most awesome thing about being in your 30s, that you could actually see things that you did not see in your 20s. It's actually the best time because, you can't really make any major decisions at 20. Like, what do you know about life at 20? You're just floating around, But when you're 30, you're actually in middle grounds, okay? And this is where you can make the biggest decisions, who you're really going to marry, because now you know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then people are just going to step all over you and do whatever they want with you. Okay, so people are like, 30 sounds very, for a lot of people 30 is like very old, but when we're like 20, we see 30 at like, oh my god, but really it's like the best time, because you just don't have time for BS anymore. You don't have time for people controlling you. You don't have time for people wasting your energy. And energy is very sacred, and Mars has to do with energy. Okay, and when you have Libra and Mars, together, you have to really balance that energy right. And I've learned how to balance that energy right. So this aspect has its pros and its cons, and you have to learn to know yourself. Okay, what's inside, so you could weigh things right. Okay, now I hope you enjoyed this video, and namaste.